This is the Red Rover reaction show to yesterday's 0-0 draw in the FA Cup against Bristol Rovers, which saw us ultimately lose on penalties. We're going to get into that and divulge that game, which more or less followed the same cadence as the last two or three down at Oakwell. And then we're also going to preview Tuesday night against Wrexham. Let's get stuck into it. So, Tracy, one of those games which I feel like it's rinse and repeat for the last few games now. I think Doug O'Kane put on Twitter of the last three games at Oakwell, I've had 75 shots and 15 on target and scored three. And the sides we played against have had 5 shots on target and scored more than us, or if not the same as us.
It's unbelievable. By half time yesterday, it was probably the first half was probably the most dominant performance I've seen us have all season. We hammered them for all intents and purposes. We hammered them. I mean, they did come and sit in quite well, but still, the chances we're creating chances. It's not as if we weren't just passing it around. We were attacking. We were flowing. We were everything. The number of chances Stephen Humphries had, and it's been pretty good, but we just could not score. It was literally we could not score. And then as the game went on, they had little spells, but they were only little spells. Even the second half, we didn't play as well, I didn't think. But even in the second half, we were always, I felt, in control of the game. And you were just thinking, we'll get one. We've got to get one. We've got to get one. And then obviously attacking the Ponty, you're thinking, yeah, it's going to come. It's going to come. And it just never did. And the one where Humphries hit it so hard from about a yard, and it just whacked their keeper. And that was the time when I thought, we're just not going to score. And then there was the little moment where they had probably a 5-10 minute spell where you were thinking, now they're going to score. It's bound to this. It's 10 minutes to go, they're going to score. And then into extra time, and it was just, again, like you say, rinse repeat. I think he made 6 substitutions in total. And again, it must have been quite difficult for him because I think he's got to have Tuesday in mind and next Saturday. But you want to win the game. You've put so much effort into it. And then the substitutes, I didn't think made a massive impact. Jallo probably did okay in spells when he got the ball. And Barry Cotter, when he came on, made an instant impact where he sprinted down the wing like Usain Bolt. Thought his hamstring was going to pop. Never seen somebody come on and sprint as fast in my entire life. But again,
it's a long time then, Trace, isn't it?
Yeah, thanks, yeah. It was, and he made a bit of an impact. But other than that, I don't think the subs made a massive sort of impact on the game. And then when it got to penalty, I just thought, oh. And then obviously he sent Adam Phillips up, the one player who's the penalty taker out of that's left. And what happens? He hits the post. So yeah, it was from there, and yeah, it's inevitable, but it has to be a worry. It's got to be. I mean, I listened to Sarah Clark after the game. It's got to be a worry that we continue to dominate games and dominate teams at home. And yeah, it was the FA Cup, but had it not been, and that been a league game, I couldn't see it being any different. Then I just think we're just in the same position where we continue to be on top for large proportions of the game, and we cannot score. And again, you're thinking, if we'd have scored early, maybe in the first 15 minutes, I could see us then getting 3 and 4. It's one of them, but we just can't seem to get a break or any, yeah. But it's frustrating, very, very frustrating. And 58% possession, etc. I'll leave Al to his big reveal for the shots and goals. But yeah, even corners, 15 corners again. Mm-hmm. And I'll be honest, we don't really look like scoring from them. So yeah, I think Killett made one save. It was a good save, one save. Their keeper played reasonably well, but we hit a lot at him. But yeah, terribly frustrating.
Yeah, Al, sort of as Tracy said there, it does seem like it's just he's probably one of those things. I think it was Georgie Jensen after the game of there'll be a team we come up against and we'll knock 5-6 past them just because of the quality of chances. And you look yesterday, it's fine margins in which we were not winning these games by sort of with the post 2-3 times in that game, post and crossbar together. And it's like if that drops an inch either side, it looks a much more comfortable scoreline, and we're not having this conversation as such anymore. But it's not falling that side, so it's almost redundant.
It is somewhat rebounds. I mean, like what happened other night, we got and everything. Rebounds, we don't get rebounds. We don't get them. We don't get luck. We don't get Robert Green. And same as Tracy Big Reveal behind me 30 shots and 9 on target, no goals. They had 1 shot on target. Yet again, it's rinse and repeat, as we've said in it. It's the clinical finish. I don't know what they're doing in training, honestly, truthfully. I mean, one got me with Cosgrove when ball come to him and 1-on-1 with keeper and he fluffed it. DKD, he swung leg football and missed ball. Penalty shootout yet again. We didn't get Robert Green there, did we? Because it wasn't Pontiac penalties. It were away end. Things aren't going right, and we've got to fix it. It's got to be fixed. It were very frustrating yesterday afternoon. Headers, no power in headers, straight to keeper. I don't know. There's something not right, to be honest, and it's got to be put right for Tuesday. We've got to have a shooting boots on. We've got to put as foot through ball and try and get goals. But then again, away from home, we're better than what we are at Oakwell. It's not Fortress Oakwell. It's still the curse of Oakwell. We're still there yesterday afternoon.
Yeah, it says things like that. And one thing there that Al's mentioned there, Andy, is obviously we played a very strong side yesterday, and a fair few of those got for 120 minutes. Wrexham didn't have a game this weekend, so they've got the recovery on their side as such. So
Absolutely.
it's not going to be, especially coming up to these next block of games that we're going into, it's not the best way to start it is 120 minutes of more or less shooting practice, but not a very fruitful session.
It must be frustrating for the players as well as for all us watching it. I'm not sure we can blame what penalties were taken though, Al, because there weren't enough people at Pontiac to make a massive difference if penalties had been at that side.
Look, I was there. I could have sucked them in. Don't you, Brett? With my chest infection, I could have sucked that in. I could have had that. I could have sucked it.
It's a
Cheers.
football, Al, not an antibiotic. Well, although I've seen some antibiotics that's about as big. It's well, like we say, it's very, very frustrating, isn't it? Al said 30 shots, 9 on target. Um, they defended well. They got the bodies online. They blocked everything. They had one very decent, well, one good save by Killip, as you said, but one very decent chance in the first half where Matt Roberts slipped and he ran through and smacked it on the inside of the post. That could easily have gone in, like you said, fine margins. That could have gone in. To the inside of the post and went all the way across to the other side of the pitch. That were hard luck. And then, again, 2-2 games for both Stephen and Humphreys. It's ball and it's 1-on-1 and goalkeeper saves it again. I thought they defended really well. They got, like I said, they got bodies on the line, and when they didn't, goalkeeper Griffiths made some good saves. I know some were at him, but he made some good saves. I think you worry most if we're not creating chances because then we just look rubbish. But as Tracy said, we dominated the game. We're creating loads and loads of chances. But I don't know what it is because it's not just one player missing it. There were half the team had a go at it, and it's like they don't quite catch it. They scuff it. They actually miss the ball. I think DKD missed it. I think Lofthouse missed it. Cosgrove is on his own, and it spins or goes away from him. Don't control it. It was one after most people, most players in our team were scuffing it or miss-hitting it or just missing it, and that's got to start preying on the minds. I don't know if they get into that position, think, "Oh, I can score," and panic. I don't know what it is, but it's like it's collective. That's the thing. You can't just say, "Oh, so and so is rubbish." You can't hit a barn door. None of them could, and the few times when they scuffed it, goalkeeper made some good saves. So very, very frustrating. And you knew it were going to finish 0-0 because we couldn't score, no matter what. We couldn't score, and I knew what were going to happen at penalties. I'm not going to blame Ben Killip. We only do it right way once. But I'm not going to blame him because but we missed two other penalties, made it easy. And I thought that because their goalkeeper, tall lad, but he'd played really, really well. He was on top of his game. And I'm sick of goalkeepers being on top of the game when they come to Oakwell, but he was on top of his game. I thought he was their man at match by a country mile. I just thought we were by far the best team, but they dug in and they weren't going to let us, weren't going to lie down. The block, like I said, blocked everything, but unbelievably frustrating. 120 minutes, as you've said. Well, the first team, apart from John Russell for Kelechi, but so close to first team. Well, first team with people that came on, and it's going to be tiring when other teams have had a rest, and not just physically tiring. Having played like that, it's frustrating for players. They played so well, lost on penalties, and missed a myriad of chances by scutching things and scuffing it and all that, and that's got to prey on the minds. So I don't think we'll find the next team as quite as accommodating.
And we made history books yesterday, didn't we? Losing penalties on first time in the new format at FA Cup.
Oh, don't go on about new format at FA Cup, Palace. I'll just start ranting again. I think they're a disgrace.
Lots of fans yesterday went out at 90 minutes. I don't think they realised it were extra time and penalties.
Yeah.
I don't say, knowing how it ended. Tracy, we've sort of touched on a bit there already, sort of how this could impact us going forward. Because when you look at that side we put out yesterday, as Andy said, it's more or less the first 11 that we have available, and it's probably the core of that team is going to be playing. I don't know how many games we've got in December, but I feel is it 8 or 9 we've got? Because quite a few Tuesday games in there. You've got the Christmas period that's like 4 games in 7 days, something like that. So it's going to be a lot to put through them, and to start off this period with 120 minutes, nothing to show for it other than a frustrating defeat. It's almost so it's going to go one or two ways of we'll either whack Wrexham at the week, on Tuesday, or we'll get whacked.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the next two games, it's certainly I think for the fans as well, it's the biggest two games of the season so far. I know we've had some derbies with Huddersfield and Rotherham, but if we're being honest, everyone looked to Wrexham away because unfortunately it's fallen on a Tuesday night, but, because of the Hollywood situation. And then Birmingham at home, their fans, I know they've already sold out, so, and hopefully we'll get a big crowd and create a bit of an atmosphere, which we've not had for some time. So hopefully, but it's two massive games. And again, it could certainly define pre-Christmas, I think, because, it's one of them where we could easily get walloped in the next two games, but Barnsley being Barnsley, we could also, perform. Because as Andy said, the performances, I thought Wigan we were poor first half, but Reading, I thought we played reasonably well yesterday. We played well, and I think, but I think for the coaches, it's probably more like Andy said, mentally, because I guess they'll have a rest day today, which they're going to need. And then you've got one training day because they'll travel Tuesday morning, I would assume. And what can you do in a day other than recover? So it's tough. It's going to be tough. So it's the mental thing for me. It's that 120 minutes of hard graft, because they did work hard, and for nothing. I mean, that's the thing. You don't even get a point. If it had been a league game, at least you come away with a point where you think, well, it's not ideal, but we got something out of the game. You get nothing out of the game apart from frustration. And at the end, then to lose on penalties, penalties always hurts, I guess. And I just think, and you said about the 11, I think the 11 that started is probably the best 11 we've got. I know John Russell's been playing reasonably well, but I don't think he's played particularly well the last couple of games. I don't think he did particularly much when he came on. So, Noah Carley, I think, has to start. I know Connell's had his critics, but again, I thought he played reasonably well yesterday, put a lot of tackles in. I saw him 116 minutes and he's still piling across the pitch and making a tackle. So, and he does bring that to us. And I think that's the best 11. So, and they all played. And a lot of them played the back three. Phillips and Connell played the entirety. So, and worked hard. So it's going to be, hopefully good recovery, and they get into the. I think Clark's just probably got to get into their heads and say, look, we're good away from home, aren't we? For whatever reason, I don't know what it is, but we're good away from home. So I think they've got to go there, yeah, being confident. But it's not easy, and I feel for them because, as Andy said, if we were poor, there's been parts of the season where we've been playing poor, we've looked lacklustre, we've not looked motivated, etc. That is not the case now. They looked yesterday like they worked hard and it just didn't happen. And I guess that's more frustratingly, like we say, in the head rather than anything else. It's not an easy fix, I suppose. So, yeah.
It's not one of those things where you can put your finger on it. That's the problem, and you can fix it. It's just put the ball in the net, please. That'd just be great. Al, as we've mentioned there, sort of, it's better to be in this position in terms of creating opportunities and not scoring, rather than the other way around of you're not really creating anything and just hanging in games and then trying to pinch them 1-0. So I suppose that is the better side to be on, but it is definitely the more frustrating side to be on, especially as a fan watching, of seeing us more or less dominate the entire game yesterday and come away with absolutely nothing.
It's very frustrating, and all over social media, fans are questioning, is Darryl Clark the right man for the job? But it's not Darryl Clark who's on the pitch. They're creating chances. It's the players. It's the strikers, and it just shows for me that in January window we've got to go out and get somebody who's more clinical. I think that's a must. I know we've got Watters to come back, but I still think we're short. If we got to start pushing, I think a striker is paramount for me. Somebody who, I don't know if you can get a look at somebody, a low knee. I mean, I know it's Bamford from Leeds is not getting any time, but would he come down to League One? Just somebody who could get some time.
We get penalties if we signed him, I'll tell you that.
But we've got to look at it, because we're not putting ball in back in net, and it's goals what wins games.
It's definitely probably one of those things that's on the January shopping list, I imagine.
Probably for a lot more teams than us as well.
Yeah, and those clinical strikers, you can find them anywhere. They're popping up all over the shop for you to just go and take them. Andy, one thing, not to sort of single out players and such, but we've slightly touched on it already, of sort of Stephen Humphreys. It feels like of the last few games, the better chance have fell to him, which that's the player you'd want these chances to fall to, looking at sort of what he'd done earlier in the season, but it just doesn't seem to be clicking for him at the minute.
I thought he played reasonably well. It's that last bit in it, players go through that. I'd be more, if I'm honest, I'd be more worried if Stephen weren't playing well. I thought he looked quite tricky, looked up for it, quick feet. I thought he looked up for it, and I thought he played well. It was just, for the second game, 1-on-1. I always thought that when, if you're 1-on-1 with goalkeeper, don't put it along the floor, because goalkeepers, usually go sprayed legged, and if it's on floor, there's a good chance they're gonna get it. Just lift it a little bit. But Uwamata to give Stephen Humphreys advice on how to score, although I just have.
Oh yeah,
Just have. Lift it a little bit, dink it or smack it hard off at it. But I'm not going to criticise for that. He weren't. There were other players that scuffed it, that weren't even. That were miss. Ball coming across, and all they've got to do is stroke it into goal, and they miss ball, and it weren't just one. It were a number. So it's like I said earlier, it's a collective malaise. So I'm not just going to blame one player. I think it's Tracy said it, and I've said it. I think it's. I think it's. I don't think it's on. I think it's in their head. Because there are players that can pass the ball, the players that can move, can create all those chances, and then scuff. So I thought Stephen did well.
You could see him getting frustrated as well. He kept smacking floor, didn't he, and stuff. You're thinking it's. I think it is getting to him, isn't it?
And that's the thing, isn't it? And that's the longer it goes on. This is going to say every single one of them needs a goal. DKD can't score. He scored the other day, but he can't hit a ball cleanly for Toffee. And it's not that he's not a good player, but it's just not working for other people. Step up, come up. Adam Phillips is not having the best of times, but we know he's a quality player. But But they're not alone. Our defenders are coming out well with ball, we're creating chances. Corey still can't get a cross off. I think he got maybe one or two crosses off at most. He's still not beating man. And Adam, what I say, we're not moving ball to then beat a man for a cross. So it's frustrating. It's frustrating all round. And as Tracy said, I honestly think that O'Keefe's been, apart from that crossing, which is the end result. That's the end result. So that's what you want to happen. That apart, he's been playing well, but it's the same thing. It's the end result. When the mercurial Bazacotta come on, like Tracy, I thought we need to extend the pitch because he's going to run out of pitch. He was that quick, like he needs a parachute on his back, like they get with flipping with rockets, to be able to slow him down a bit when he gets near the touchline because he was like lightning. So my niece, and it's another niece, it's a Barnsley fan niece, Becky, who came, used to be a season ticket holder, but she lives in Mansfield like Rotherham does. She said, because I said, get ready, Bazza's coming on, get ready for this. And she says, he's best player on pitch by a country mile. Because he was that effective when he came on and got crosses over. So, well done, Bazza. He's come back and shown. I don't know what happened other week when he didn't look at all bothered about being on pitch, but he certainly did yesterday. So well done to him. But no point in you got to get crosses over, otherwise there's no point. And when you do, you've got to not scuff it. Well, easy, isn't it? It's easy. I'd have scored 10 yesterday.
At least.
From top at East Stand, I'd have scored 10. In fact, Reece Pearce at West Stand, he'd have scored 11 just by being stood there and not swinging his foot at it. So
I think it sums up when Phillips is in goal scoring positions where he would normally shoot and he's making passes. That I think that says something about what's happening in the team. You think, why have we not? And it weren't only him. There's people in positions and now they're choosing the option of I'm going to pass it because I don't want to miss again.
Well, for me, like you just said, Tracy, the thing that somebody told up for me in that respect, there was about 12 yards out in the box with clear, nobody in front of them. We got two players, O'Keefe, and I think I'm not sure it was. I think it was John Russell, but it might have been. It was John, and it's like, no, after you, no, you have a shot, no, do tickling, tapping it about between each other and thinking, one of you shoot, and neither did, and it got cleared, and I thought. That summed it all up. We're not confident that we're going to score, so you do it. No, I'll let you do it, and that's not just those two players. That were, that's pass. Try to walk it in rather than because it's easier than getting the groans and moans from supporters and everybody else by taking having a go yourself. That were it for me. That particular 2 seconds. No, you do it. No, you do it. And I'm not blaming those two players. It was just symptomatic of what must be going through all the players' heads.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Tracy. Sort of when you've got players like Adam Phillips getting in those positions, and it's just a confidence thing of it's always like he's not backing himself to get that to score in that position. So I'll see if I can pass it on to someone else. And almost like not shirking responsibility as such, but just not having that self-confidence just to have a go and see what happens, which is frustrating and sad in a way.
It is if he's not confident.
That way. Yeah.
Because if there's any player that should be confident in their ability to score, it should be Adam.
Yeah, I guess the penalty will not have helped that, will it either?
No. Again, though, it's just one of those things. It's too.
Well, it's so accurate. He's hit the post. It's like.
It's one of those things. Right, get your thoughts on yesterday's performance down in the comments below. We'd love to see how you sort of saw the game as well. Of again following the same cadence the last few games, it's been a little bit frustrating now. But on the contrary, we aren't at home on Tuesday, which is always a good start in terms of a positive result. When we go to the racecourse ground and play Wrexham. So, looking at the stats pack, Phil Parkinson, manager there, top scorer, Marriott on 5. Second in the league, although they have played more games and they played one more game than Wickham and 2 more than Birmingham. Form, draw, win, loss, 2 wins in the last 5. Key player, Elliot Lee, who's having a bit of a standout season in terms of goals and assists and contributing. And the key stat is Wrexham have the best defence in League One, only shipping 11 goals in 17. So something that is quite tight. Andy, how do you feel about this one? Because it's one of those where, as Tracy mentioned at the beginning, it is, there's a Hollywood factor, there's a Disney factor to all this, and also we've not played Wrexham in ages, and they've set off in this season as they have done the last two for him as well.
I'm pleased for Wrexham fans because the despair of being in non-league football, and I know there's all the, I'll get a plug in when I speak to Matt Jones from Racecourse Rambler, their podcast on hopefully on Monday if he's back from holiday. I'm glad you've had a nice. I hope you've had a nice holiday, Matt. But you know, so we'll see then. I'm pleased for them because they've gone up through the leagues. You know what going to happen when Paul Mullins, what top scorer in League One with Cambridge, and then he signed for a non-league club, signed for them because they were going to go places, and they're, I think their fans will not be taken in by all the external hype. I know there's the welcome to Wrexham and all that business, but I don't think the fans will be taken in with all that hype. I think that's media driven and getting people watching and what have you and all that. So I think their feet are on the ground, but they've risen up and they've obviously spent some money and got some really good players, solid players in that are going to make a difference. So for that, good luck to them. They've played 9 league games at home, won 8 and drawn 1. And like you said, they've got a really, really mean defence, home and away, a mean defence, which don't bode well because does that mean we're not going to get many chances? Does that mean they're going to block its goalkeeper, going to pull off worldies? Are we going to scuff it? We're going to do well to score at this rate because even if it were the easiest defence in the world, it's not working for us. We're not doing it right. So that's going to make it a real challenge. Tired legs, mentally, physically, against the meanest defence. But, stranger things have happened in football. Can't see it happening on Tuesday, but strange things happen in football. You never know. You just never know. Look who they've got. Last time they played, midweek last week, when they beat Mansfield 1-0. I think it was Mansfield 1-0. Lincoln, sorry, 1-0. I just want Mansfield to lose. I don't know, there's something wrong with me. Lincoln 1-0. Their central strike playing with one striker and one behind were Elliot Lee, who couldn't hit a barn door for us. And he's doing well. They've got, like you said, player. I know he's coming towards. Well, you'd hope I hope he comes towards the end of his career on Monday. Never mind on Tuesday. We've got Jack Marriott, who's always. Oh, I've always rated him as a player. Paul Mullins is good. And then in the flipping wings, they've got Stephen Fletcher, who again's coming to. They're getting some old uns though, aren't they? Stephen Fletcher coming to an end. So he's there. He's scoring. He scored a couple of goals, but he's a big strong lad up there. Orchestrating it all, we've got Matty James, who even though he's coming towards the end of his career, hopefully on Monday. He was outstanding for us. So I hope he has he must be outstanding for them where they're playing.
Apparently he is. I read the
great player,
and it said I think they used impressive about. He's only played only about 4 games, and they've said since he's gone into the side, he's just been amazing.
He's a great player.
That don't surprise us because we know he was class when he came for us. But yeah, apparently he's been amazing since he went in there.
And of course, on wing they've got James McLean, who knows how to put a cross in. I know he gets a lot of stick and abuse, which I think
it's deserved.
Well, I know, but it is one of that small breed of players that does it to do that, and it makes him play better. I think the best thing to do is just laugh at him, or just not respond to it because he does it to gee himself up, and it works for him. And we're not just us, opposing fans are letting him gee his sen up, and we should just laugh at him or just yawn or something like that because he's a good and he can get crosses in and all. So and there's just a few players. I'm not going to go through all team. So it's going to be a tough ask. A fresh team, buoyant, full of. They've scored a good number of goals, but they've conceded plus 15 as a one hell of a goal difference. But 11 conceded. Was it 20? Well, 26 scored. That's not massive, but it's good. It's good, and tired legs against fresh legs, confidence against confidence draining, particularly in that last 89 yards that the confidence drains from us. So it's I think it's stacked against us, if I'm honest. But who knows? Football's a funny old game. Somebody once
Certain,
said.
certainly is. Tracy, in terms of, there's a lot of players there that Andy's mentioned that are coming towards the back end of their career now. And obviously we've still got that quality, but to me, it's one of those. I get how Wrexham set off well, but to ask all them players to keep it up for 46 games in a season, I think it's going to be difficult for them, and I think that's where Wrexham will probably come unstuck a little bit this season. Is you've got Matty James 34, you've got James McLean, I think same age, Marriott similar age, Stephen Fletcher similar age, which it's all well and good in periods to have those players, but it's been quite difficult for him, which does give me a little bit of confidence on Tuesday, given that we've got a fairly younger side, barring Matt Roberts, who's around the same age as
34.
the
Yeah.
players we just mentioned. It's apart from that, we've got a much younger team, which you'd hope we can probably bounce back a little bit and come back with a little bit stronger, able to enact the press that we'd like to.
Yeah, I mean, physically, if they recover well, we should be fitter, faster. Obviously, if we get Barry on, he's faster, Andy. We know that. But I think the thing that Wrexham has, and they do go for the older player, but that's been their key to success. So they have now. It's not something new to them. This is what they've done since the Reynolds etc. came in. So, but I think what they've got is they've got a big squad, and that's the key for them. Like Paul Mullins, who's been outstanding for 3 seasons, seems to be on the bench now, and then they're bringing him on. So whereas we look at our bench, and yeah, we've got fresher, maybe younger players like Jallo, but certainly not the quality that he's got in terms of. So I think if they manage their squad effectively like that, that's where I think they'll probably still do quite well. Because I mean, they signed, was it Bodvarsson from Bolton and Matty James late on as free agents, and like Al said, we probably I think Patrick Bamford's a bit of a pie in the sky. I'd like to think it was true, but I can't see him coming to us. But yeah, I think
Wrexham.
Yeah, exactly. You just think they've got the money, aren't they?
On Tuesday.
Yeah, they're the sort of players that they do. They seem to be good at getting in those sort of players, and clearly it's because they can pay them. There's that. Is it Mo Farlow? We spent a lot of time tracking, and again, he seems to be on the bench. So you're thinking, yeah, I think they've got a quality squad. Whereas still, I look at us and our 11 is looking stronger, but I still look at the bench and think we are still lacking in quality. Not endeavour, but we're certainly lacking in some quality. So, yeah, and obviously, Josh, other than Tuesday and when we play them on New Year's Day home, I want them to do well because I had them up there in my top 6.
I didn't. So that's why I'm saying they'll fall
yeah.
off.
So I'm not too upset if they're doing all right. Obviously, I don't want them to do well on Tuesday, but yeah, and I think one that I've noticed, I've not seen loads of them. I've seen a bit this season. Ryan Barnett, who's one of their wing backs, who I didn't know anything about. He looks to be outstanding in terms of. I think he's got 6 assists. And he's probably our Corey O'Keefe with the ability to put the ball into the box. So yeah, we'll see. But I think it's a worry going there on Tuesday. We're good away from home, and that I guess is going to carry us through, hopefully. But yeah, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, Al, where do you sit on this one? Because obviously, I think, I know Wrexham have developed a bit of a rivalry with Stockport over the last few seasons, given that they've both come up back to back, and I think Stockport beat them to the league last season, and then beat them a few weeks ago 1-0, and from looking at stats, battered them in that respect. And Stockport to me were okay when we played them, but nothing out of the ordinary. Such I thought we probably should have won that game. So. I suppose a little bit of solace to take in that of these sides that have come up, it has definitely made it a lot more difficult this season. But it seems like we can cope with the difficult teams a little bit better than what we could last season, for one.
Well, hopefully we can. It's going to be a big, big ask, I think, to go to Wrexham. The last 2 home games, we lost to Wigan and drew with Reading. and they've not conceded a goal in the last 2 games. They beat Exeter 3-0 and Lincoln 1-0. Although they got a bit of luck, I suppose. It were an own goal. What got the 3 points to them? So it's a tough place to go, as you say. They set up 3-5-1-1, and they've got old heads in the team. And I think old heads helps the youngsters and brings them on. So yeah, excited that we're going to Wrexham, but as I say, we're not scoring goals, and they're not conceding goals. So work that one out. It's going to be a tough ask to bounce back from what happened yesterday, but it's in our hands. They've got to put the FA Cup on the back burner and concentrate on league
Well,
now.
at least for a season, Al.
Because that's all we've got to concentrate on now, isn't it? As league, and can we get in the top 6? Who knows? But at this moment in time, I don't see much what we can get out of the game personally.
I feel like this is going to be a game where we knock 4 or 5 in. Because they've not conceded, we've not scored, we've not been prolific, so it's going to be Tuesday this happened.
If we beat them 5-0, I'll get Joe Beardsall to buy you a drink.
I'm focused on it more than that.
I know there's more chance of beating them 5-0 than Joe buying you a drink. I know that much.
Yeah, that's what a terrible prize that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
On off.
Predictions, Andy. We came to the end of a mini league yesterday.
We did.
And I know it weren't fruitful for me.
I said we did come to end. I think it's fair to say it were a splutter. It were a splutter. Only 3. Nobody. I'll put the league tables on this show. The final league table for the first mini competition. All starts again on Tuesday night. Nobody got 0-0. Nobody. 2 people. Funnily enough, Joe Luke Beardsall and RMB, also known as Matthew Baines, they said 1-1.
I said 1-1.
I'm not counting you, Al.
I said 1-1, extra time and penalties. What more do you want? And you'd all laughed at me.
Well,
Wait,
we'll
1-0
again,
Milan.
Al. Al, we always laugh. Well, that's not. No, it's changing, Al. Are you sure you said 1-1, Al? You did, Al. I'm only joking.
Just the last show, Andy. It's all right. I know at your age you forget things.
I know. And our friend Wayne Brown said 2-2. So there, as far as I can see, and I'll look through it with a fine tooth comb again. But apart from those, nobody got. Well, I don't suppose anybody expected to get 0-0. So the person that won it, and me and Alistair are going to book the tickets on Monday, is Chris Mann. So
Congrats, Chris Mann.
I went same score as you, I know. I told you he's not daft. Mark the Red finished up second. They were, hard luck to Mark. I think I need to check properly to put it all together. But I think Mark went 2-1 as well. It might have been 3-1. I think it was 2-1. So yeah, Chris Mann's the winner. But it all continues from the new ones to Wrexham. Continues because obviously many competitions are nice, and it means you can start from scratch if you like Alan, well behind. You get a chance to do something well. But it continues. The big one has ended season 1, because then you can say, it's like difference between FA Cup or Bristol Street Motors Cup as opposed to getting promotion. Winning league. There's a difference. Winning league over a season rather than over a few matches. So that continues. So such joy for me. Two things. Two things to be doing now instead of just one. So.
Oh well.
All right.
That's a shame, isn't it? You've got an extra job to do. Yeah, congratulations to Chris Mann. We'll be in touch.
Tried to fix it, Josh. Tried to fix it for you, but when nobody does all right, when nobody gets it right, what can you do? I can only work with the tools I've got, and nobody give me a chance.
Yep, exactly that. We'll be in touch with your prizes and sorting out getting that across to you as well. We'll probably drop you a message on Twitter and sort it out through there. Right. One prediction's done. Predictions two. So start the new campaign. Well, the new mini league. Tracy, what do you reckon?
Well, they are amazing at home. We are amazing away. So 1-1 draw, and I'll be very happy with that.
Interesting. John, so I don't understand. Do you not think it's so weird how a couple of years ago, if we got a draw at Wrexham, that'd have been terrible. But now we're like, oh, I'd be really happy with a point against Wrexham away.
We'd be coming away happy as anything, won't we? Skipping.
Yeah, same as Man United fans of the day been happy with a draw against Ipswich.
How life changes, eh? Is that something
Yeah.
about Ipswich though, or Man United?
I don't know, but I'd have been
At
annoyed
least,
with a
at
draw
least he
against
says
Ipswich.
more about Wrexham than us, I think.
Yeah, it's true. Al,
I think same as Tracy. I think I can't see us getting 3 points, but I'd take a 1-1 draw from Racecourse Ground on Tuesday.
a bit sad, this, isn't it? Andy?
I want him to prove me wrong. 2-0 to Wrexham.
Boring. You're going for points in this league.
Starting as I mean to go on.
Head over heart there. Head over heart, definitely.
You're trying to get off to a good start in this new mini league.
I hope not.
I'm going to go. I think we'll win 1-0.
Wow.
I think we'll win.
I think you need to go back to bed and get your sleep out.
No, it's just there might be second league, but I just don't rate this Wrexham team. I think the wheels
They've
are going
won
to fall
8
off.
out of 9 at home.
So we've probably done the same away, but we're not rate good.
Fair point.
Our form sits similar away, and I don't think we're brilliant yet. I just don't think this Wrexham. There's just something about it. I don't know why. Maybe it's just 'cause I'm jealous that they've got a Disney documentary and we haven't.
You've been talking to Joe this week because he's having an undue influence on you. It's not right. Must be
No,
that seat. Undue influence.
No, it's absolutely. I'd just rather us win one. I'd want us to win,
Oh, I do.
but I don't think we will. But if I put it out there, we've got half a chance.
Oh, so you've gone
Doing
back
my
to your,
bit.
I want to win this league to I'm just going to say where I hope rather than where I think.
Well, we'll see. We'll see when I start this next season. On one point, you've got none because we've won 3-0, and they've been team that we've just converted every chance against, like Port Vale started last season.
I hope we do.
Look,
I'd love us to.
Wrexham don't leak goals, do they? Leak. I hate to get a leak, and I know Welsh reference. They don't leak goals, do they?
They don't tell. That is correct. Right, we will be back on Wednesday with our reaction to the Wrexham game and previewing Birmingham City at the weekend as well. So see you there, you Reds.